Now, it's been some time since we've last checked up on Astera. A prosperous land teeming with enticing discoveries and deadly wildlife has more than likely had every square kilometre explored by now. Or so we thought, as Capcom have thrown us another curveball with the exciting new region to explore in the very latest expansion to their record-selling series, Monster Hunter World: Iceborne. Iceborne is set immediately after the events of the first game and its content updates, as erratic changes in monsters' behaviour coincidentally leads to the discovery of the icy, desolate region of Hoarfrost Reach. It's from there that you join the First Fleet in exploring its unforgiving landscape and attempt to retain balance within the ecosystem. However, this is easier said than done, as Iceborne's entire campaign revolves around completing Master Rank quests. For series veterans, these are effectively G-Rank quests, and the faintest of heart need not apply. Monsters are far more aggressive, hit harder, and can test the resolve of the most patient of hunters. To help face against such adversity, Iceborne incorporates a few features that help change the tide of combat. Most notable is the Clutch Claw, which mounts you to an enemy within range and allows you to perform several maneuvers depending on the situation and the ability to use your slinger shots without having to sheath your weapon, which is perfect for when you have Crystal Burst and you need to make a monster flinch on a whim. Balance remains an important element, and while some of the changes increase hunter utility, Capcom has ensured that you still need to earn your successful hunts. Difficulty can now be scaled to a pair-specific mode if there are only 2 hunters in a party, and it adjusts accordingly when other hunters abandon or disconnect, rather than staying the same regardless of circumstance. It creates a stern but fair attitude that permeates throughout the duration of the expansion, even during the hardest of quests. Further additions are a few quality of life changes outside the realms of questing, such as being able to choose which area to spawn in as soon as you boot into the game, radial menus for emotes in villages, and a variety of strange resource building minigames. Some of these features in Iceborne are a bit of a letdown, particularly when you wonder why they weren't patched into the base game. Though with the number of new monsters, a sizable main story quest line, and more endgame content on the way, it's difficult to be too mad about that. So if you're a returning hunter, chances are you've already made your mind up about Iceborne, but for the fence sitters, it's great content complementing the foundations of an amazing base game, but just make sure you're over hunter rank 16 before you decide to get stuck in. Now, joining me, unfortunately, are my Pelicos. So I'm here with Jody. Jody's got my hat because she doesn't care about continuity or professionalism. She just likes stealing hats. And also Brandon as well, who is probably 10 times better than I am at Monster Hunter. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Now, I wanted to discuss about a very contentious topic when it comes to Monster Hunter in particular. I've been reading a lot of hubbub online about the distribution of said content. Now, Monster Hunter World to me feels a lot more like it's inclined towards live service model, where you've got like your login bonuses, you've got seasonal content, new monsters patched in, new quests patched in, and it makes things very lively. Now, the way with Iceborne being an expansion is that it's actually cheaper than a base game. And a lot of this hubbub is coming from foreign players, people not from Japan. Unbeknownst to them, that Monster Hunter has always been a game, like G-Rank quests have always been added within the game through like a separate SKU, like a re-release of Monster Hunter. So, like Brandon, for example, or Jody, like how does that make you feel about, like, do you prefer an expansion or do you prefer like buying the game over again?
I like the idea of an expansion. Like, I originally started playing the series back when it was just Monster Hunter Tri, and then they brought out 3 Ultimate. And that Tri was back in the day where I guess it was the first time we kind of played a game and you're like, oh yeah. And then 3 Ultimate was like the expansion pack, but you're buying a whole new game. Like, these days, like, all kinds of games are providing DLC. It makes a lot of sense for Capcom to be providing DLC that way. What do you reckon?
Yeah, like, I definitely prefer more of an expansion-based setup, but that's also me coming from an MMO background. And I found I actually also started in Tri, and the only time I've actually bought was when we bought Monster Hunter Cross, which was for the Japanese version, and then went into Generations, which that's the only time I've actually experienced having to rebuy the game. But yeah, like, definitely having it as an expansion instead is a lot better, because you have to keep all your save file, you keep all your data. You don't have to go and do the grind all over again, which I feel that's going to be a lot of. If we had to do that, a lot of people wouldn't buy the game and would just turn on it and just not support it anymore.
I think that's an important point to make as well when it comes down to Monster Hunter. A lot of the people that are angry and mad about this are the people who haven't actually had to buy the game more than once. Think about like Monster Hunter Portable 2nd came out on the PSP way back when. We ended up getting the G version right off the bat. So in Japan, you had Monster Hunter 2nd Portable, you had Monster Hunter 2nd Portable G, which featured the G rank quests, and the same applied to games like Monster Hunter 4 and even Monster Hunter Cross. Like Monster Hunter Generations was essentially just Monster Hunter Double Cross. So we never had to buy the game over again, transfer our save data. So we had that luxury of just having to buy the game once. This is probably one of the first times in a long while that we've had to repurchase or like purchase an expansion. And I think once you put that things into perspective, it's actually a much better deal than having to buy the game over again.
Oh, absolutely. Let alone, like Brandon was saying, the grind again. Imagine having to grind from HL1 all the way up again. It'd just be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, there's already enough grinding in the base game, so you don't want to go through that again, unless you really like Monster Hunter, which like I'm not going to blame you for. But...
Yeah, but okay, we've got to put it out there. Desire Sense. Like, do you want to have to put yourself through that every single time?
Don't say that. Otherwise, Desire Sensor will get even worse. The less you talk about it, the better it is. But let's kind of get into more of the nitty gritty of the patches, because as we all know, there's going to be more monsters down the line. Yeah. Who are we hoping for? Don't say Kezu or I'll kill you.
Clearly you want its cousin,
Giganox?
the Giganox. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I really, really want Agnactor. Like, I think there's a glacial subspecies of Agnactor as well. It's perfect.
And it just turns all of like the icy wasteland into just volcanic eruptions.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, I reckon. But then again, like, there's a lot of speculation there, and it's going to be really exciting to see what comes up.